for Tuesday, presented by Progressive. Absolutely spectacular late February day in Miami, Florida. We're down the road in Coral Gables for the Hurricanes and the number 2 Duke Blue Devils. Smiles as wide on Cooper Flagg's face as any you'll find, because his Duke team is rolling. National title contenders, though they haven't yet pulled away in the ACC, just a game ahead of both Louisville and Clemson, 2 resurgent teams for first with 4 games to go in the league. Happy Tuesday night, Kevin Brown, John Crispin. Thanks for spending part of your evening with us and with maybe the most fun team to watch right now in college basketball.
And a lot of that centers around Cooper Flagg, probably the most complete player in college basketball. And they're not perfect, right? The human condition makes being perfect as a basketball team nearly impossible. But when you look at the roster creation or construction that Jon Scheyer's staff put together, it goes far beyond just the 5 guys. Like, we don't have a screen big enough to fit all the players that have such a major impact on this program. They are balanced, they are polished, and they are complete. This Duke team, from my perspective, has the highest ceiling in all of college basketball.
They are coming off a 110-67 beatdown of Illinois in a non-conference game in the Garden Saturday. It was the largest defeat in Illinois history for a Duke team that has the 3rd highest margin of victory in program history. They don't just beat teams, they beat you down. And they've scored 99 a game in their last 3. So a major test for a banged up, struggling Miami team. We'll see if the Canes can give Duke a shot to start here. They begin with the ball on this Tuesday night in Coral Gables. No Matthew Cleveland for a 2nd straight game for Miami. They do have Lynn Kidd, who is questionable with the ball right now. Finds A.J. Staten McCray, and his 3-pointer off the rim will not go. Grabbed by Con Knippel, and down the floor comes Duke with a starting 5 that we've gotten to know so well. James, Proctor, Knippel, Flagg, and Malawach. A Duke team 24-3, 15-1 in the league. Their lone loss a couple of weeks ago at Clemson. Their other losses this year, Kansas and Kentucky. Con Knippel opens the game with a 3, the dime for Cooper Flagg.
I think we know what Con Knippel could do. He showed us that early in the season, but you've seen the growth from Malawach. You've seen the growth in terms of the added responsibility for a guy like Sion James, and that's where this team really stepped into a higher level.
Divine Ugachukwu, freshman point guard. Freshman Jaleel Bethea with Staten McCray, Johnson, and Kidd. 3 transfers for Miami. No Cleveland. Not going to get Nigel Pack back this year, it doesn't seem. Roll it into Lynn Kidd, who has been a double-double machine of late. He feeds Johnson out of the double to 3 for Ugachukwu, is missed, and the offensive rebound to Johnson. Into the body of Proctor, tries to bounce it to Kidd to take away. Here is Tyrese Proctor. Flagg, Knippel, same spot this time, missed, and it's chased down by Duke and Proctor.
All right, let's not miss the fact that Cooper Flagg recognized Con Knippel hit his first shot. Who does he go right back to? Con Knippel. That's maturity right there.
18 years old with maybe the highest IQ in the nation among basketball players. He hits a 3. By the way, he's a 4.0 student.
Yeah.
So his IQ on and off the court is elite, and it's 6-0 Duke.
He's like a walking cliche, to be honest, and I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Flagg up to 37% from 3 after struggling to start the year. Bethea misses a deep one, and here comes Proctor. 2nd best offense in the country for Duke, and a rare turnover here. Bethea anticipated. Back from Ugachukwu, and Duke's so good in transition. Into Kidd, he'll score it over the top of Malawach.
The key with what Miami did was they had a quick hitter, they had space to throw the ball inside, and there was nobody there to dig down. Miami's going to have to capitalize early. Just quick hitters are probably the best way to score.
Duke, one of the best shooting teams in the country. Knippel gets another great look. He'll fake out of it and then be fouled by Staten McCray. Milestone game for Jon Scheyer. It's his 100th game as the Duke head coach. 78-21 record. The best record through 99 games of any head coach in ACC history. And it probably does not get enough credit, as James turned it over, committed a foul, for how well he has maintain the standard set by Mike Krzyzewski.
No Duke coach is ever going to get enough credit for what they carry and what they're responsible for. Coach K never got enough credit for his greatness. If anything, he was despised for how great he made that program. And Jon Scheyer is not going to get enough credit for carrying the responsibility the way he has to maintain the identity of the Duke program, this elite mindset in terms of doing everything right with discipline. That's a great responsibility that I don't think we really appreciate.
Johnson into Malowacz, fighting for his own miss. It's ripped away by Knipple, and Johnson's whistled for the foul.
The hardest thing was Jon Scheyer was just like right in front of us, so I couldn't say too much. You know, I wanted to be complimentary, but you don't want to floss too much while he's sitting there.
You think he's listening? You think he's paying attention to anything you're saying?
I'm a loud talker, man.
We could ask him right now. Proctor driving, and Proctor's layup is good. First bucket for the junior from Sydney, Australia.
That's Proctor being the beneficiary of great balance on the floor, meaning all five are a threat, so you're not getting much help. That paint was wide open. He attacked, no contest on the layup.
Now 1 point away from 1,000 career. Miami has scored the ball well this year, but struggled in ACC, just 16th in ACC games, offensive efficiency. Bethea out of control in the lane, lost it, and it's a turnover. Duke will take over. Bill Courtney took over for Jim Larrañaga, who stepped down one day after Christmas. Interim head coach in his 29th year as a college basketball coach. Awfully trying season for Miami. 6-21. Jim Larrañaga stepping down before conference play even started. Knipple fading away, left it short. Offensive rebound to Malowacz. Flagg driving. Flagg determined to get to the basket. And there is just about nothing you can do when he has that level of determination.
No, that and good footwork. You know, he wasn't out of control to the point where they pulled the chair. He didn't travel. Just simple fundamental things he does at such an elite level.
He's got 5 of the 10 for the Blue Devils. Bethea. Kidd has a height advantage on Proctor. Will pass out of it. Staten McCray way short. And an air ball turns it back to Duke. Going to be a letdown after you beat Illinois by 43. Doesn't look like it. Duke has passed every test, and they passed the opening 5 minutes or so.
No, and I think they really get it started with what they do defensively. Great length. They just close every gap. They scramble well, and then in the open floor, if you don't have two guys really jabbing down and at least slowing down Cooper Flagg, you're in trouble.
ESPN. Duke starts with 4 assists on 4 made field goals. 10-2 lead for the Blue Devils. Milestone game for Jon Scheyer. And maybe a milestone trip for one of his assistants. 36-year-old Jay Lucas sitting right there to Scheyer's right. Nothing official, but it's been reported over the weekend that Jay Lucas is expected to be the next head coach at Miami. Here's a quote from Jon Scheyer yesterday on the ACC teleconference saying, "It's not ideal by any means considering the timing. Think about the Miami staff, the Miami players. Our job is to really block it out and stay in the moment." Again, no official word. As Flagg sets up Patrick Gungbo, who misses the dunk, but multiple reports indicate that Jay Lucas will be the next head coach here at Miami after Jim Larrañaga stepped down at the end of December. So, John, what do you make of Jay Lucas? What do you make of this situation here? It's a bit of a strange one with Duke coming to Miami.
It's a very strange one, and you got to look at it this way. It definitely favors one team more than the other. Duke is in this key point of what should be a stretch run. This is a Final Four national championship level team. You don't want any distractions. You don't want it to be about anything other than this team and their potential right now. For Miami, that information coming out certainly helps. Right, it gets some hope as to what's going on in the program and maybe start the process of building a team. So I think it's unfortunate for Duke, and I think Jon Scheyer was being very measured in his words.
13-2, his team leads. Tyrese Proctor had that last 3, and he has just gone over 1,000 career points. Congratulations to the junior for hitting that milestone. Staten McCray, who hit 1,000 on Saturday, has it back defended by Flagg, and Gungba intercepts a pass. Down the floor with Flagg, a bobble, and then a finish.
Wow. The body control, up with the right, finish with the left. I gotta stop saying wow, but at the same time, like, it's deserving.
That's 6 assists on 6 field goals and a 15-2 Duke lead. Flag gambles. Ugochukwu into Gungba. There's a foul against the Duke freshman.
Yeah, you mentioned the assists and the way they share the basketball, and they are so connected. They're so unselfish. They really do play for one another, which has been one of the more remarkable things when you consider the young group that they have surrounded by experienced guys who are really checking boxes. And the boxes are needs, right? Role players with experienced guys. It does remind me of that Anthony Davis national championship team where you have a young group who is willing to grow together because of their unselfishness. And I just think that's what continues week in, week out to elevate the ceiling for this Duke program.
Freshman Divine Ugochukwu thought he might be a redshirt candidate this year, but all the injuries, he's become a regular starter. Hits both, and it's 15-4. Duke is 6 for 9. Miami is 1 for 6. Isaiah Evans on the floor. He's led or co-led Duke in scoring in the last 2, 17 in back-to-back games. Flag around a Gungba screen. Evans knocked away, and last touch by Isaiah Evans. Good defensive play by Ugochukwu.
The shot preparation wasn't really there. I think he looks up, he realizes he's got space, but when your feet aren't set, there's just less rhythm in the shot.
Knipple Proctor will take a seat. Caleb Foster, who was awesome late in the second half, gets some early playing time today. James returns as well. Miami with the freshman Austin Swartz off the bench. Paul Jobé as well, sophomore from France. Swartz misses a 3. Batted around by Kyrie Huey and kept alive for a Jobé finish. Evans, McDonald's All-American freshman who's really come alive of late. Duke with 3 freshmen on the floor right now, a sophomore and a senior in James. Here's Foster driving and spins it home eventually. Like waiting for Godot with that thing hanging on the rim.
Cooper Flagg was kind of in a camouflage role, right? Just staying off the ball. He actually took himself out of the play, which ultimately opened up the baseline for Foster.
John Shire might say the first domino on that play.
You love that.
Told us that earlier today. It's all about being the first domino, whether that's a pass, a cut, just taking up space.
No, I think my point was don't be the
Don't be the one that topples the sack over.
No, don't be the one that doesn't fall.
10th of a second to go after the block by Patrick Gungba on Jobé, and that sends us to another timeout.
This just kind of showcases they're seeing the ball, they're communicating well. Row 6, seat 7 got a basketball in their face.
Turnaround season was in order. 2 years ago, they made it to the Final Four. Last year, they lost their last 10, finished 15 and 17, and they have been drilled by injuries. They found out on Saturday, just minutes before the game, that Matthew Cleveland is not going to be able to play last Saturday with what the team is calling a left ankle injury. He is unavailable again today. And Miami commits a shot clock violation. They had a 10th of a second to go. They could have tried to tip it in, but they didn't. So Cleveland missing a couple. Nigel Pack, preseason first team All-ACC right there, has been out since December 10th. Left knee issue. They've had a couple other injuries in addition, but those are the 2 big ones of late. And it's just a season where Miami's great dreams of bringing experience together with some good young freshmen really were toppled from just a couple of games into the year, leading to the resignation of their head coach, Jim Larranaga.
I think it's also just a reminder, we talk about the reality of college basketball, that it's year to year in so many ways. I mean, you see the banner 2023, that was just 2 years ago. This is a Final Four team. And now you're just fighting for relevance to make possibly the ACC tournament. It's a challenge on a whole other level when you lose players like that. Matthew Cleveland's worked really hard. I did the Notre Dame game. I give him a lot of credit. He fought to give his team an opportunity to pick up their first win in ACC play.
Had a stretch of 7 straight 20-point games at one point, Cleveland, but he is out tonight. Miami very undermanned. 8 scholarship players available in the game. Step back 3, Joe Bay, and Flagg with a rebound after he had scored the last bucket. Kimball says he's going to stay with Miami. That's what you're talking about. That is how quickly things can change in this game.
Winning is fragile in college basketball today. Why is that? Well, I mean, you look at the rules around free agency, of whatever you want to call it. You know, guys playing at 4 different schools, going to the portal. The second things don't work out, asking for more money if they do. Winning is fragile in college basketball these days.
Ugachukwu scoops it inside. There's the finish for Kyrie Huey, transfer from Idaho State. Well, Jim Larrañaga mentioned some of the things that you just mentioned when he stepped down. He said, after a minute to the Final Four, 18 months ago, the first time I met with the players, 8 of them decided they were going to put their name in the portal and leave. I said, don't you like it here? They said, no, I like it here. It's great. But they had the opportunity to make money someplace else. That was from Jim Larrañaga's final press conference here.
And you can't fault kids for it, so let's not say it should be any other way. It just is what it is, and you've got to navigate the new challenges and hope that at some point there's some form of stability that gives you at least a framework or guidelines or boundaries that allow you to establish a system that works going forward.
Well, Bethea's 3 makes it an 8-point game, and Evans' 3 answers to balloon the lead back to 11.
Amazing what happens when you just break down in terms of your assignment. You got to understand your personnel. Evans wants to come off and shoot that 3. If you switch and don't switch up, you're going to get beat.
Duke's best 3-point shooter at 46%. Freshman Ugachukwu with the freshman Schwartz. Very skilled shooter as well. Evans stopped that one. Bethea hoists it and scores it with a little glance down at the Duke bench.
I don't know if you want to take it that far.
I didn't know if he thought the shot clock was about to expire. He got that thing up quickly.
Well, had he not, he wouldn't have gotten the shot off because they closed hard.
Wow. Oh, Evans! Freshman for freshman, 3 for 3, punch for punch on these last few possessions.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Bethea wants to wake up the Duke bench, let alone the 5 guys on the floor. Evans is, I'm telling you, if you're not there, he's chucking, and I love every bit of it. He's the kind of guy that if he gets into the game and he's hitting, great, keep feeding. If it's not, so what? You got 10 other dudes who can do it.
As he burst onto the scene with 6 first-half threes against Auburn December 4th. But since then, Duke's seen him grow as an all-around player. Defensively, he's picked up things. You saw him cutting and slashing in the Illinois game as well to the basket.
Well, you do certain things that almost forces a coach to look to play you more, but then a coach can say, these are the things you have to do if you want consistent minutes, and he's answered the bell.
Duke's hit 6 in a row for the field. Miami 3 straight. Ugachukwu lost it, knocked away by Proctor.
You know, that's the thing, though. You look at players that have great potential. You know, you can do a lot of little things really well. It's hard to get significant time. You come out and hit 6 threes the first half against Auburn, you almost have to play a guy. But at that point, the coach is going to say, this is what we've got to focus on, making you better defensively. This is what I need you to be. If you're going to be such a threat from 3, I need you to move. I need you to take guys with you. I think he's really soaked up the coaching really well, and he's been a great asset to this team.
Johnson, tough catch for Schwartz. He'll fade back and miss a 3. That's tipped out by Lynn Kidd. Bethea, Johnson, Kidd, and Malowacz rejects it. Stays with Miami, 10 to shoot. Bethea, another deep one.
That was almost a really good possession offensively. There were so many good things, even some interior post passing, and then Malowacz just wipes it all away.
7-2 eraser. Evans.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Isaiah Evans with a look at the Miami bench this time. It appears the Hurricanes have woken the giant. The 6'6" freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Bethea actually shrugged at his bench, kind of like, I was there, and he was.
Knippel's on the deck, and he'll be called for a foul as he ended up undercutting Johnson.
I mean, just elevating over the top. I mean, you're there. He's there. It's a good contest. He's all balanced defensively. You would say for the most part, if that shot doesn't go in, you would commend the defense. But the shot falls, and you feel like you should have done something different. If anything, you just have to run a guy like Evans off the three-point line, make him be a dribbler. And you can say that all you want, but you got to just play against it to figure out how to do it.
Proctor smacks that away back to Ugachukwu. You know you were a good player in high school when your jersey's retired and you're a college freshman. That's Isaiah Evans. Bethea looking for a third three. He's got it.
It's a great opportunity for Bethea to just learn how to be the guy. It's a responsibility that's hard for most players, but at this point, he's got to be it. Why not? Maybe that's why not. It's off the side of the glass. I still like it.
Well, Bethea's hit more threes today than the entire Illinois team did on Saturday. They were 2 for 26. Not going to hit that two. Another big block by Malowacz. Pretty good back and forth shooting here. Duke by a dozen on the road. Duke by a dozen on the road, looking to get to 25-3. Big start for Cooper Flagg, Isaiah Evans, and Jaleel Bethea. Time for our McDonald's All-American Spotlight. 3 former McDonald's All-Americans in this game. There's Cooper in the back, Jaleel and Isaiah in the front row. And they just happen to be the 3 leading scorers in tonight's game. Evans with 10, Flagg perfect from the field. Bethea's hit 3 threes.
It's pretty impressive when you think about how much those guys have grown up since that picture, right? What they were playing against compared to what they're up against now and the challenges they face. I mean, they're like young professionals, quite literally.
We're not going to use the cliche they're not freshmen anymore, which every coach loves to say once the season gets to February. But they've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Kidd scores it. Lynn Kidd with his second bucket.
They're still freshmen because they haven't played in the postseason, and there's nothing like what it takes with short prep to figure out who you are in a postseason situation, win or go home situation.
Nice drive by Knipple. Duke is 12 for 16. They have not missed consecutive shots in the first 13 minutes of this game.
I think the concept of that cliche is ultimately like more is expected of you now, but you're still not what you're going to be once you get through the whole season, which also includes potentially that last game you lose.
Kidd from Johnson. Working on Malowacz, who's already blocked 2. Got it on the rim, and then James couldn't control. So Duke shooting 75% today. Here are the previous 3, which included 100 pieces against both Stanford and Illinois and a measly 80 at Virginia. Though 80 at Virginia is like scoring 100 against anybody else with their pace. 99 a game, shooting 57%. Oh, nice catch by Paul Newman, our statistician. Cooper Flagg tipped it right to Paul. Best hands just off the court tonight.
Madness at the lake behind us.
Look
is
at
going
this.
Nuts too.
Look at Newman with the reaction. How much is this guy getting paid?
Really?
Step back 3 for Schwartz.
Whoa.
No. And then James was out of bounds.
I think going back, when you look at the Duke numbers, you have to consider the fact that the reason why the numbers continue to get better and better is they get more and more familiar with one another. They understand each other's tendencies. They know when to get the heck out of the way when somebody's making a play. They know how to feed the guy when he's starting to find it. I just think the more you play together, the more you know your team. Same goes for coaches. The more you see guys play through dynamics and kind of sometimes those playground dynamics establish themselves, just get better and better, and that's what Duke's done.
6 to shoot for Miami. Ugachukwu cut off by Malowacz, and oh boy, they got bailed out by a kick there. That'll reset the shot clock from 1 to 20. We had Duke Wofford very early in the year. One of the things we talked about then This is such a skilled team, great collection of talent. Can they give us something that's really fun to watch? Can they find this great aesthetic level of basketball, this flow, this rhythm that we know can be there that you don't see much in college? Probably even better than we could have expected at that point.
And frankly, there's a part of me that believes if they were not as good defensively, that you might see more of it. I think they're so stifling defensively, they have to create their own rhythm on offense.
Bethea, flag just missed the box out there. Bethea into the corner for Johnson. An air ball.
Do you understand that point?
I do understand
right?
that.
Like, when you're so good on the defensive end, you cover so much ground. It's hard. You have to go ahead and turn around and create your own rhythm offensively. Look, Syracuse had to do that with their zone.
Proctor pops it out of the air, gets it back from Knipple, and leans in to draw a foul on Bethea. Tyrese Proctor with a steal and a chance for 2 at the line. It's Duke's 3rd steal of the game. Miami's 6th turnover.
Just to put a cap on that point, I want people to understand, if you're a really good defensive team, you're stifling. You actually slow the game down to the point where it's hard to get shots against you. And then you have to get out and want to play fast and space the floor and create a good rhythm offensively. Well, it's hard to do that when the game itself is lacking rhythm because of the strength of your defense. I hope that makes sense.
Coming out of ESPN2 after this game, a Super Tuesday top 25 matchup in the SEC. Mississippi State, which is playing its 10th of 13 games against a top 25 team.
Welcome
Coleman
to the SEC.
Coliseum against number 6 Alabama. Mark Sears back-to-back 30-point games for the Crimson Tide. Another one of the most fun teams to watch in the nation.
I should also say, too, like, no question, the SEC, it's ridiculous. You know, we say top to bottom, really bottom to top. There's no easy night in the SEC, ton of top 25 teams. But there's no guarantee that next year's going to be like that. There's just no guarantees. I think that's what we should get excited about.
If the ACC you want to get excited about, no guarantees the SEC will be as good next year.
No, there's no, like, ACC's going to be better.
Kidd spinning and flushing. Lynn Kidd has 6.
Did a good job feeling the defender on his back.
They weren't sure if he was going to play. Took a hard fall on his back late in the Virginia Tech game. Flag from Gungba. That 3 is off the mark. Kept alive by Gungba. First consecutive misses of the game for Duke. Joe Bay was out of bounds. Wipe it off. Would have cut the lead to 9, but he was on the sideline.
Miami's done a good job fighting in this game. You watch them on defense, they're scrambling well. They're late on some closeout, and Duke's getting some shots. But all you ask this group to do is compete. Just go out and compete. Give yourselves a chance, make plays.
Evans, not sure what happened there. Maybe Joe Bay got a hand in there. He didn't have the grip. And Bethea lays it in. He's in the double figures.
It's the second time Evans has lost the ball on the way up.
Down the floor to Gungba. Got set. Kidd was in position. Gungba gets his miss. And Kidd just bear hugs him as Gungba rolls it home.
That's a timeout foul. You know that, right? That's like, I need a break foul. You just kind of wrap up to say, no, timeout. Like in pickup, that's what you do, right? When you're tired of fighting in a pickup game, this is what you do. If you're Lynn Kidd, you're like, no, I'm tired. Just stop for a second. Problem is, Gungba's a beast and powered through it. Everybody who's played at the YMCA knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because if you play at the YMCA, it's likely that you're not in the best shape possible, and after 30 seconds in a possession, you're done and need a break.
No, the problem is you try to foul him before he gets the shot up. The YMCA, and probably he'll be tired enough too that he's not getting it on the rim either.
True.
Gungba with a 3-point play. 6'11", 250 freshman, Manassas, Virginia. Lead is 13 for Duke. 8-1 on the road, 15-1 in the league. Ugachukwu, get that out of here. Sion James into the front row.
I think that's another thing to point out with Duke defending the ball. You don't have to send secondary defenders over to contest shots. They've got such great length at the guard position, whatever that is anymore, guard position. 6, Cooper Flagg, Sion James, these guys are monsters.
Flag with a takeaway. Ugachukwu to defend. That's
Smart.
a very smart foul by Ugachukwu, because he could have been on TikTok real soon. 6th foul on Miami. Duke will have possession when we come back in a 13-point lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball, presented by Progressive. Brought to you by Discover. It pays to discover.
Because he never saw a shot he didn't like.
Yes, you are exactly right. The problem is I never found a coach that was willing to just let me chuck it. Where were you when I needed you, Coach?
Oh, that would have been a great combination.
He never would have let me do it either.
Proctor, great bounce pass from Flag.
Oh, God.
And Flag follows after the rejection.
To his point, though, the guy that's willing to take tough shots is such a difficult matchup. Anytime he's out there, you can't help off of him. You have to help up. You got to play 30 feet out. When you have so many other weapons on the floor, I just think Isaiah Evans makes everybody else's game easier with the space he creates on the floor.
Gongba got position early on Bethea, who commits a foul, his 2nd.
You make a great play on defense. You feel good about it. Maybe celebrate for a second. Cooper Flag comes downhill. Again, I got to give Miami credit. They haven't had Nigel Pack, no Matthew Cleveland. Question was whether Lane Kidd was going to play at all. And they're competing. That's all you can ask. It is just get out and compete. And I think there's a part of this fan base right here that appreciates what they're seeing in Duke. They appreciate a high-level basketball team in Cooper Flag, like the first pick of the draft and all that stuff. But they also appreciate the fact that their team is competing against a great team. And Malawatch just walked by. He's huge. Right?
He's 7'2", 250, and he feels every bit
I
7'2",
think he's
250.
gained 15 pounds of muscle this season alone. He looks great.
Schwartz, freshman, passes up a 3. Miami's 0 for 8 from 3 outside of Bethea, who's gone 3 for 6. Deep in the shot clock here. Schwartz from inside half court. That is a shot clock violation.
You know what, though? Great defense. At least the shot clock violation allows you to get your defense set. Sometimes you take a bad shot late where it's a long rebound, run out, or a turnover that leads to a dunk. I always say shot clock violation, at least it's not a turnover.
I mean, technically it's turnover, but I get what you're saying.
Whatever.
Evans, Evans drills it. His 4th 3 of the first half.
So you watch that shot go down. Now pay attention next time down floor, how far out they come and pick him up. Pay attention to any time the ball's driven his way. They're not leaving him.
Goes down as another assist for Flag, his 3rd. Flag and Evans have combined for 24. Miami has combined for 23. Schwartz over Flag. His 3s are getting deeper and deeper for Miami. Ugachukwu with another offensive rebound. Canes have 11 of those. Joe Bay, and he got hit from behind there by Cooper Flag, who was called for his first foul.
Again, the willingness to just catch and fire makes you so dangerous, right? A little good, like a mini rub screen there. Kind of like Wes Welker running by Gronkowski, like pick play. And he just pops back somewhat flare. And if you're not there, he's catching and firing, which means next time out, you're not leaving him. So then watch the driving lanes open up.
Evans in the last 5 halves he's played, 12 for 16 from 3 and 47 points.
Is that good?
That's good.
I just think it's the impact it has. Shot makers have such an impact on a game, and it's far less about the 3 points that they put on the scoreboard.
Free throw's good. Snaps a 10-0 Duke run by Joe Bay. Says the impact, just the space they take up, the attention that defenses have to pay him.
Yes. Look, it almost makes it to the point where you could play 404. Oh, boy.
Gosh, they are giving this guy any daylight, and that's a mistake. They should be guarding Isaiah Evans from the moment he steps out of the hotel. 5 for 6 from three. He's got 16 in the first half, and Malawach knocked it out of bounds off of Ugochukwu.
I mean, that's ultimately on Miami to say, hey, I don't care. Don't let him catch it. Just square. I mean, you can't. I mean, look, you're going to switch. You got to switch up into a shooter.
Here's Proctor all alone. Missed it. Another great look from three. Duke's now 8 for 13 from out there. They're up to 15th in the country in three-point percentage. That number is going to jump after tonight. Swartz hoists. Swartz hits.
I think you look at those numbers for Duke, though, and you understand they get high percentage looks and they have a good rhythm into their shot because of the playmakers all over the floor.
Now, this is really smart.
Oh,
Duke
wow.
is so good going 2 for 1 at the end of halves. They don't get the basket there. Ugochukwu, tough finish. Ted Valentine stops play as the ball was getting away.
The 2 for 1 is great because it's something that's discussed. Everybody becomes aware of.
Duke does have a timeout here. They use it or lose it. Going to wipe down the basketball first. And Duke will take a timeout. Looked like Tyrese Proctor went into the tunnel during that timeout. He got banged up. We will update you on that shortly. Back in 30 seconds here to Coral Gables. All right, there's going to be real concern here for Duke. This is what just happened to Tyrese Proctor. Watch him grab near the left knee at the end of this play.
It's like that last plant and immediately felt it. Now, this happened so fast, we didn't recognize he ran off.
Yeah, Ted Valentine stopped play and told the Duke trainer, you've got a player over by the tunnel here. And Tyrese ended up in the tunnel. So final possession of the half for Duke, and Malawach is fouled. It'll be a 1-and-1. Swartz picks up his first. Well, Duke has been relatively healthy this year too.
Well, that's really helped because it helps you build continuity with the group you have. It also helps you develop rotations that you really like and almost identify new rotations you can play with based on different situations. Health is a great thing to have because it actually gives you an idea of what you're really working with.
They don't have Malik Brown right now. He dislocated his shoulder, left shoulder in the first half against Virginia. They would like to have him back for the ACC tournament.
Yeah, they're confident that when he comes back, it won't take, like the relearning curve isn't too bad.
He's been banged up a couple of times. Gungba missed the first couple of games of the year. A left foot injury that had lingered coming into the season. That's about it. Mason Gillis missed a game with illness. Otherwise, they've been healthy. Hopefully, there's nothing serious with Proctor. And Duke will commit a foul. They had some to give. It is James' second, though.
They do a good job of staying out of foul trouble. Their ability to switch so many positions but scramble well, they rarely get too far behind the play.
They have one more to give. Swartz driving it, floating, and scoring. I tell you what, pretty good first half for the freshman Bethea and Swartz near the end of the half, and a couple of baskets. But a great first half for the freshman Isaiah Evans.
Isaiah Evans, when he gets a shot, you better close out, run him off the line. But I commend the compete, right, in Miami. I really give them a lot of credit.
47-32, Duke has the lead. Kevin Connor, Sean Farnham, and a guy who would have loved to coach John Crispin, Seth Greenberg.
Kev, he's shaking it.
Back to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. The world-famous Clevelander of Miami, Florida. 47-32, the halftime lead. We're here at Coral Gables. Kevin Brown, John Crispin back with you. Once again, Duke shot really well, really strong first half, but a very unfortunate development at the end. Tyrese Proctor limped off. We just received word he's out for the game with what Duke's calling a left knee injury. Really scary moment in the final minute.
Yeah, this is concerning. I mean, he's such an important piece of this team, and I know a lot of people will say, well, this is a team with great depth, but you understand this is a group that's been able to build with most of the same players. Obviously, Malik Brown's going to be coming back, and they've developed a unique continuity. We talked about the rotation options that Jon Scheyer has. Well, now you probably have to adjust a little bit. The good thing is Isaiah Evans has gone off from three. I mean, he's just been ridiculous. 5 of 6 from three. If he gets more time, you've got to think at some point they start closing hard and taking away the three opportunity, and he's going to start this second half in place of Tyrese Proctor.
Evans had 16, 2 off the season high. Miami was led by Jaleel Bethea with 11 halfway to his season. Hurricanes fought hard. They were +7 on the glass. They had 11 offensive rebounds. The question now, can they avoid the second half blitz that typically accompanies a Duke opponent in the opening minutes?
It's not just the blitz. It's also the fact that, like, you fought for 20 minutes, but to do that for 40, it is consuming in a variety of ways. The cumulative effect of Duke's length, the pressure they put on you with so many weapons on the offensive end, I think that's ultimately what wears teams down.
So James with Evans, Knipple, Flag, and Malawach, and Sion James didn't take a shot in that first half. Opens the scoring here in the second.
Nice that they get him on that flare screen with a wide open side of the floor and allow him to make a play and be an impact early.
Again, no Matthew Cleveland tonight for Miami. Lynn Kidd, who is questionable, is playing. And Kidd around Malawach. A fine finish. He has 8. Duke hustles it down the floor. Flag drives it into Kidd. And Malawach will be called for a push-off in his first foul.
This one, like 6 months from now, Cooper Flag is going to kind of come to more of a power stop, get body into the defender and finish and get that and one. You can tell, like, as great as he's been, there's still room. It's not an insult. It just means he's going to get better.
He's one of the 5 youngest players in college basketball this year, as is his teammate Malawach, who collects that rebound. Knipple from James. And Knipple stepped out of bounds. So Duke turns it over for the 7th time.
I wonder what percentage of times guys on the baseline dribbling actually step out of bounds or, like, literally get shoved a bit. I'm going to go like 80% slight shove. That little hand check. The good thing is you make a claim like that really nobody could qualify either way. Yep.
What percentage of those slight shoves are good defense versus actual fouls is the follow-up question. Johnson 3. And Knipple with a rebound. Duke 99 points a game in the last 3. On pace for 94 based on their first half. Flag is fouled on the drive. That's number 2 on Brandon Johnson. Cooper's parents are here tonight, Ralph and Kelly. And we saw them chatting up Kevin Love earlier, Miami Heat player who is at the game tonight.
Kevin Love looks great too. He was at LA when he was a freshman at UCLA. How's he lost weight since his freshman year?
Knipple splashes a 3, the 9th for Duke. Con Knipple, 38% three-point shooter. And a season high 25 against Miami the first time these teams met. Duke won that game by 35, never trailed, and they have not trailed tonight.
Like Con Knipple's guy who came out earlier this season, and you're like, wow, man, he's something else. And Cooper Flag just kind of did his thing, and then every other game you'd see someone new emerge, whether it's Isaiah Evans, then you see the potential in Sion James, and Cooper Flag's just always there putting up numbers. Just so many weapons.
Evans, step back. James swats it. There's Ugochukwu at 7 rebounds in that first half, the freshman point guard, and that ball's thrown to Nobody. It was deflected. You go through trends with Duke players, and I like to do that, building boards. How many games in a row in double figures, shooting streaks. There aren't a ton with Duke because somebody will score double figures 3 in a row, and then, you know, Knipple will have 3, and they'll still win by 30.
Well, the best teams, the game determines who that best player is on that night. Now, look, Cooper Flagg is in a different category because he does a little bit of everything. But I'm talking about leading scorers.
State McRae wrapped it around for a bad miss by Bethea. Flagg driving. Flagg fouled. Flagg finishes.
Like, if you're going to double the post, Isaiah Evans might be your leading scorer. Con Knipple might be your leading scorer. If you're going to let this guy dribble all the way to the block, you're just dang in trouble. Like, gotta stop. Look, simple things sometimes. Yeah, you have to do the simplest things against the best players. Stop the ball, right? C-man, C-ball. Like, maintain position. Keep yourself between your man and the basket. Like, little things like that. That gives you the best chance possible against superior players.
3-point play for Cooper, who's got 14. That was his first free throw attempt of the night. Ugachukwu, who committed the foul, dribbles himself right into a mess. James with a takeaway. Knipple down to Flagg, back to Knipple, driving, Malawach, he'll finish. 4 of the 5 Duke players touch the ball on that possession, and Miami will take a timeout. Duke started the game on a 15-2 run. They begin the second half on a 10-2 run.
Now, but it's just another terrific performance from Cooper Flagg, 6 of 9 from the field. Scores it when he wants to, moves the basketball. So much so, I say he moves the game itself more so than just moves the ball. I mean, this guy is manipulating the basketball game. Ralph and Kelly Flagg sharing the love. Ooh. See what I did there?
I do see what you did there.
That's something you would do.
Love is all around us. Hey, great week for the Flagg family, by the way. Cooper's younger brother, Ralph and Kelly's son, Ace, state champion as well. 11 points as Greensboro Day School of North Carolina won the state title. 13th state championship for their legendary head coach, Freddie Johnson.
Do you think they just drive around all day with that, all we do is win, 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 playing? Did we just have to pay for that because I kept saying it?
I hope so.
Not.
Into Kidd. Working on Malawach. Kidd is in all kinds of trouble. Got it on the rim.
The other advantage that they have with Malawach is you don't really have to help. You don't have to double really at all. But you don't really have to help. You just contest the shot. It's a tough shot. You don't overhelp. You get the rebound. You run out and go.
James thought about a 3. Drives it. Malawach tries to tip it in with the left hand. Here's Ugachukwu. He's got his 9th rebound. Corner 3 for Schwartz. Miami 4 for 20. Saturday, Illinois did not hit a 3 for 24 minutes. Started the game 0 for 17. Evans 3. And a rare miss. Just his 2nd of the game from 3. Knipple cleans it up and gets fouled.
What do you think about that defensively? They rarely chase the play. They got great length. They communicate very well. And because they communicate well, they scramble defensively as good as anybody in the country.
Looking to be the 1 seed. They're a game up on both Louisville and Clemson. Wake Forest right now the 4 seed. Joe Lunardi's last team in the projected field. These would be the seedings if the season ended today, which disclaimer it does not. And the bottom 3 teams in the ACC will not make the tournament this year. Right now that's NC State, Boston College, and Miami. All the way at NC State Saturday, big win over Wake Forest. They get Syracuse tomorrow. Maybe Kevin Keatts' team will get hot again.
I mean, again, go back to us talking about the 2023 Final Four banner sitting up here. I mean, look at North Carolina State. In terms of the fragility of winning, it's probably how it's going to be until things get changed in college basketball, where there's at least some boundaries or, I don't know, some accountability as to what the foundation is going to be and how to build a program, let alone just a team.
Meanwhile, you have Louisville, which has basically become inverse Miami. 2 years ago, they were at the bottom not only of this league, but of college basketball. And now they look like a real tournament contender. 7 seed right now, according to Joe. End of the shot clock, Kid. I mean, these offensive possessions, there's just nothing going on.
I think that's a good point, though. Louisville likely doesn't get enough credit for the way they're playing and how good they are because the ACC is perceivably down, right? And granted, I understand why, but we should be able to celebrate Louisville coming back from somewhat obscurity. I mean, frankly, it felt like a circus there for a while.
Foster just into the game, had it stolen by Ugachukwu with a finish. Freshman has been a bright spot this year for Miami, a year where they didn't even know if he would play. Out of Sugar Land, Texas.
On top of that, Clemson deserves a little love. Brad Brownell, very respected coach in the game. It's good to see that team playing well.
I mean, if we get Clemson Louisville in the ACC tournament semis, which is certainly possible. Clemson's never won the ACC. Louisville was a dead program the last couple of years. Talk about a matchup. That would be of 2 teams who'd be so happy to be there. I don't mean that as an insult. 2 teams that would find such joy in the progress they've made. Knipple off the inbound hits a 3.
I think Carolina is a dangerous team. You know, they've been trying all season to figure out how to be a small lineup, how to play small, and I think they're starting to figure out you've got to have space on the floor. Hard to do with Elliot Cadeau at times, and they've started to find out how to play small in pockets, right? Not consistently enough, but they've done it in pockets, and it makes them dangerous.
They put up 90 plus again, won at Florida State last night. Good win for them. Knipple knocks it away from Schwartz. Actually, that may have hit the underside of the basket, so it's a Miami turnover. Sonic Blockbuster Saturday on ABC. Once again, what a game we have in the SEC. Johni Broome at #1 Auburn in Lexington to take on 17th ranked Kentucky. 1 Eastern on ABC. Auburn an absurd 14-2 in quad 1 games, and that will be a great atmosphere for Mark Pope's Kentucky Wildcats at home. Johni Broome right now seen as the likely runner-up behind Cooper Flagg for National Player. They are both having just insane seasons.
Like, just play 14 quad 1 games. Sounds like torture.
How many more will they play, too?
I know, right?
They could play, I don't know, about 14 more, 10 more between the SEC tournament, NCAA tournament, end of the year.
It is wild.
Here's Foster. And if Tyrese Proctor's going to be out, and he's out for the rest of this game, Caleb Foster becomes a really important player for Duke.
Well, and you don't have to be Tyrese Proctor, just like Isaiah Evans doesn't have to be Tyrese Proctor. Just be the best version of yourself.
Foster got in at the end of the game, in the Illinois game, scored 12 in 7 minutes. Bethea with a tough shot. High pointed by Johnson. Bethea screaming for the ball. Instead, he finds Kidd.
Kid's an experienced dude. He's played a lot of basketball. That's just going to be too easy. Goodness.
Gungba.
That is losing interest in the game. If you get beat that badly, no communication. I'm watching the body language from Miami. This second half hasn't been the same as they competed in the first.
Bethea sets up Schwartz. Long 2. And foul will go against Cooper Flagg here. Actually, it's going to go against Foster down below. Picks up his first. And this has been one of the deals of Miami this year. They have competed early in some games. And then we saw it against Virginia Tech Saturday. They have fallen apart late. They're obviously very undermanned. They have 8 scholarship players available with no Matthew Cleveland. And Lynn Kidd, Bill Courtney told us, was really banged up. And really wanted to play and worked hard to get out there tonight. Huey can't finish. It's a 20-6 run to start the half. And James makes it 22.
I mean, I don't know how you stop that. Like, great body control, sit down, good balance, and then you just look at him, and it's a monster. You do it by stopping the ball early. That's, again, one of the mistakes Miami's made, not stopping the ball.
Get it inside the arc. First time with 6 to shoot. Bethea. And another shot clock violation. Duke has locked this thing down defensively. Bill Courtney just does not know where to go for answers. Duke by 31. A team that can win it all. Playing like it. Network, the 91-92 Duke Blue Devils. I know in the Crispin family growing up, there was a Duke North Carolina divide.
Yeah, well, Joe was a Duke fan, so naturally I like Carolina.
I'm sure Joe will be, if not watching it live, I don't know if Penn State plays on Saturday. I'm sure he'll be checking that out. Your brother is assistant coach at Penn State right now.
Especially that group. Bobby Hurley, he was so into Bobby Hurley, you know, Jersey guy. But I think we appreciate, even if I was a Carolina fan, I appreciated greatness, right? Like, just want to watch some of the best play and perform.
And maybe this Duke team is in that rarefied air as Knipple finishes. He's got 15. It's early to say yet, but if you look at numbers, Ken Pomeroy's database, offensive and defensive efficiencies, kind of college basketball stats gospel. Ken Pom's database goes back to 96-97. This is the second highest net rating, offensive and defensive efficiency, of any college basketball team since 96-97. The only better net rating, 98-99 Duke. So I know we're still in February, but that's just statistically, cumulatively, that's where this Duke team is at right now.
Look, it doesn't tell you everything, but it certainly points to something. And that something's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn balanced, and it's probably something that everybody out there would like to replicate if at all possible.
Darren Harris on the floor for the first time with under 11 to play, and a tough shot made by Staten McCray. Transfer from Samford, who got to 1,000 career points last game. Harris, another top recruit who barely plays on this team. Again, no Tyrese Proctor. He injured his left knee at the end of the first half. He's out for the remainder of this game. Foster. James drives it, had it taken away. Staten McCray with another block. It's a 5-on-4 for Miami. Bethea hoists a 3, and before the shot, Bethea was out of bounds. So he has really struggled since hitting those 3 early threes.
Body language is something that's for real. If I was a coach, I would really focus. I would do film sessions on bad body language. Kind of like the, what was his, Tony Robbins, you are how you feel. Well, in a way, that your body language dictates a lot of what you do and how you do it on the basketball court. Right now, his body language is pretty broken. And I get why. Malawach
Knocked away from him, and Ted Valentine's got a foul somewhere in there. And it's against Bethea, his 3rd.
It's hard to make a high percentage of shots if you mope, right? Like, we talk about having a short memory as a shooter. You know, you don't want to think about the last shot. Well, you also don't want to carry frustration with you. Body language tells me a lot about a team. Not just the guys on the floor, too. Guys on the bench.
ESPN Thursday primetime women's basketball doubleheader. Duke, Carolina, Cameron Indoor. UNC 13-3 in the league, Duke 12-4, and then South Carolina ranked 6 heads to Oxford, take on a good Ole Miss team. ESPN and the ESPN app.
Ooh, Shake Shack.
Shout for Shake Shack on the free throws here, and Malawach goes 1 for 2. No Shake Shack for anybody.
That was the loudest these folks have gotten in, I don't know, tonight.
Do you like the new trend now everybody's got? If, you know, there are missed free throws, you get Shake Shack or Chick-fil-A or Nuggets or something.
Why is it always food in this country? How about a headband?
Shout for a headband.
Like,
is that what you want?
I don't know. I'm just saying something. Like, what if it was, hey, 2 shots, you get a Fitbit? Who's cheering for that?
What an amazing amazing promotion that would be. Probably more costly than a chicken sandwich that nobody's actually going to get. They're just going to cheer for.
It's the idea of getting something for free, Kevin.
Right. If he misses 2 free throws, I could get some fries.
Well, Virginia Tech does a dang slab of bacon.
State McRae for 3. Did they?
Yeah,
Slab of bacon?
I think it's like whatever you call a pack of bacon. I think you get a whole pack. That's a big commitment.
That's serious.
Like you take out an insurance policy for that type of commitment.
Flag.
Good find.
Malowacz and denied. Once again, State McRae with some good defense at the rim. Johnson for 3. Airballs it. Grabbed by Jobay. And he will miss it. Rebound to Flag. 27 the lead for Duke. Mason Gillis, pretty quiet game for him. Harris, no. Gillis with a rebound. Cooper bumped. And no shot. He is fouled beforehand.
It's funny you say that about Mason Gillis. That's a pretty quiet day for him. It's like, yeah, but his impact's different. Like sometimes he's going to get open threes and he'll take them and, you know, you can knock them down. But he does so many little things that make you a winning program that it's impossible to point them all out. And some of them are not even what you see in the game, in a live game. It's a lot of what you see in the locker room, the leadership, the experience. The guy came from a really successful, polished program like Purdue. There's a lot for these young guys, incredibly talented guys, more talented guys than Mason Gillis, to learn from a guy like that.
Well, the mix of transfers they got, Sion James and Malik Brown, who were hungry to win, who had not been to the NCAA tournament. There's value in that. And then there's value in Mason Gillis, who made it to the national title game a year ago, too.
It's a variety of perspectives, too. You know, the roster creation is something that it's probably the best job Jon Scheyer's done. And then once you get him, you have to figure out how to maximize the potential of the group. I think they've done a good job with that as well. Helps to have Cooper Flag.
They went 2 for 2 there, so no Shake Shack on those free throws. No Fitbits. No headbands. Kid misses. I'm just thinking about what's the funniest possible giveaway. He misses 2 free throws, you get a free gym membership. Knipple with a 3. Duke's 12th of the game.
God, you want to talk about something no one uses.
If he misses 2 free throws, your first week at Planet Fitness is on us.
The judgment-free zone, bro.
Boeing Malowacz deflects it, and a foul against State McRae. Duke deflections, Duke domination, Duke demolition. 77-45.
You just can't be
performance.
If there's 2 guys we've got to take a look at, it's obviously Cooper Flag and Isaiah Evans. And 2 guys who space the floor, and when you space the floor properly, you get easy looks. Cooper Flag has been ridiculous all season. I have to prep for games and think about how not to over-compliment Cooper Flag. But Isaiah Evans is such a weapon. When he comes out and hits his first few shots, you keep feeding him the basketball because he makes the game easier for everybody else.
Freshman on that graphic. Flag, Knipple, Evans.
Knipple's got the quietest 18 ever.
Had 5 in the first half, 13 here in the second. Flag, the projected #1 pick. He's been that basically for a year. Knipple has made himself into a projected lottery pick, and he has some. And there are more and more thoughts that Isaiah Evans could be an NBA prospect as well, with the way he shoots it, with his size. I mean, frankly, who isn't an NBA prospect on this Duke team? Malowacz, too.
You're an NBA prospect. You're an NBA prospect. It's true, though. And I think what's remarkable is you kind of look down the bench and you say, well, who's the most important outside, say, Cooper Flag? And it's probably not another prospect. It's probably more role guys. That's ultimately what
They're in his zone right now, by the way?
Yeah, they're in his zone.
Mason Gillis at the back end of it. State McRae, short.
It's a great chance to try things, too. Look at the length at the top of that zone, though. And just think about passing around that.
I want to see some diamond and one in the last 7 minutes. Malowacz flushes. Flag with a fist pump, his 6th assist. And the big man with his 2nd basket.
It's just good. That's just good playing, right? It's not always running a good play. It's good recognition. Knipple kind of streams down. Good flash, good find. Cooper Flagg can pass over the top of anything.
16 assists, 27 makes for Duke. Best assist rate since assist came an official statistic in 83-84. They assist 60% of their baskets.
This is good stuff. Yeah, good screen over here. Lynn Kidd's tired, man. He doesn't really fight over the top. Not enough ball pressure. That's a good quick hitting action. It also keeps a double away from Cooper Flagg.
And a nice ovation for Flagg, Malowacz, and Knipple, who have probably seen their nights come to an end. Flagg was 16, Knipple with 20, Malowacz was 6, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block, and just altered a bunch of other shots too. Bethea, another tough take for him. Miami just doesn't have really anybody who can facilitate the offense right now.
I bet fans want to not like Cooper Flagg. It's just hard not to appreciate it. He just competes, doesn't really send it in your face, and I think you appreciate the way he plays.
Harris driving, knocked away by Ugochukwu. Bethea, back for Johnson, he'll lay it in.
It's good to keep competing if you're Miami. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, simple, just go compete. It's harder than you understand when you consider the fact that your entire identity as a student athlete, maybe not everybody, but your entire identity is kind of rooted in what you do and the outcomes you can create on the basketball court. It's tough.
Gungba, nice little wraparound from Foster. Patrick Gungba with 9. I mean, Miami's lost his coach. Jim Larinaga resigns. They're not going to make the ACC tournament, probably unless they win out. That doesn't appear as if it's going to happen. So you're left in kind of basketball limbo here. State McCray, and there's a new coach coming in. Reportedly, it's one of the guys on the other sideline, Jay Lucas for Duke. You don't know which of these players are going to come back. Ted Valentine just
saw that.
Okay. Down the floor after getting tripped up.
He just
Johnson up top, and a nice finish by Bethea. There's a highlight for the Hurricanes. Well, Paul Sells on Saturday in the Duke game got tripped up by a fan, so I'm hoping we don't have another referee incident here, injury incident.
Yeah, Ted Valentine going full parkour on us.
Parkour. Gillis banks in a 3. Number 13 for Duke.
Maybe not by design there off the glass, but I'll tell you, when he's making shots, he's another weapon. As a floor spacer, again, hard to help off of, and typically in his role, if he's on the floor, he's the guy you would help off of.
And Miami, the worst three-point defense in college basketball this year, 39%. Evans drives it. Duke has hit 62% from 3 today, 13 at 21. The 13th time Miami's allowed double-digit threes.
I also think Duke can play a little more freely on the offensive end because they trust their ability to defend. The more you trust what you can do on the defensive end, the more you free yourself up to play confidently on offense.
Lynn Kidd, again, battling through injury today. Gutting it out, 14 for Miami. 29 minutes played. I know Bill Courtney really appreciates that Lynn Kidd did the work to get on the floor today. You can see him labored a bit as the game's gone on. Foster, another step back 3. Foster's 2 for 2 from deep. I mean, these are like layups. Duke's largest lead in ACC play this year. How about that? Kidd. It was 89-54 the first time these teams played, and it'll be 89-54 if Lynn Kidd hits a free throw out of the break. Just another dazzling Devil display on a Tuesday night. Wow, some weird, wild stuff happening in college basketball tonight, Kev. Duke leading Miami here, and Duke's great this year, and if they're going to be great next year, those two are going to have a big partner. Boozer twins, Cameron, number 2 player in ESPN 100 for next year. Caden, number 17. Cameron's a 6'9" power forward. Caden's a point guard. And they committed to Duke over Miami back in October. Of course, their dad, Carlos, national champion at Duke and our colleague with the ACC network.
Yeah, I think the recipe's there to bring in big-time talent to be a part of that brotherhood they have at Duke. Frankly, it's like a lineage.
Gillis misses a 3.
You bring in young talent and find the right people in the transfer. I mean, not just the right players, the right people. And they've got that right now. I said Mason Gillis, Malik Brown, Sion James. They got the right people. Skill set's there, yes, but you got to be the right people to play the role correctly.
John Shire told us today, I'd really like to just get one transfer a year in the future. Now, he may lose half his team to the NBA and need more than that.
Sounds ideal.
Foster strokes a jumper, and Duke is into 90 again.
Well, maybe what he's saying is, I wish I didn't have to, you know, lose 5 guys every year that I need to replace. But it's the reality that these days.
Huey on the lob. Corner 3 for State McCray. Under 2 to play. Duke's got Cameron Sheffield on the floor. Number 13 in the corner. Previously played at Rice. And here's Sheffield with the ball. He has it knocked away. Ugochukwu gets tripped up by Foster. Don't forget, next up on ESPN2, big one in the SEC, Alabama and Mississippi State. Mark Sears, Josh Hubbard, 2 of the best scorers in the SEC. That's over on ESPN2. Heard the Georgia-Florida scores. Mickey Harrison's in the house, owner of the Heat. The Georgia-Florida game, Georgia was up 26 down to 7. Would be a major upset in the SEC. Georgia squarely on the bubble.
Yep.
That game is on SEC Network right now. Gillis with another takeaway. That's Duke's 20th, a new season high. And Gillis misses a 3. Well, Duke may not get to 100 again tonight. Huey's lob, and Jobay is there to push it back in.
Somewhere along the lines here in the second half, it kind of became a little pickup ball.
Yeah.
And John Shire did the right thing in getting some of his guys out of that game. I said that's when guys get hurt. You got to be careful. Talked earlier about Tyrese Proctor out, left knee injury, has not returned to the bench.
Sheffield for 3. It was Spencer Hubbard at the end of the game against Illinois. It's Cameron Sheffield, the graduate student here out of Alpharetta, Georgia. His first 3-pointer in 2 years.
My man behind us, who's been yelling the whole game in favor of Duke, is saying, yeah, I don't even know who you are. God bless him.
I don't know if people could hear him. They probably could, based on the fact that he's breaking the Guinness World Record for decibels. 94.58.
Did find out he's an orthopedic surgeon. And another Jersey guy, of course.
That's right. Duke's next game Saturday, Florida State. That'll be an ACC Network night game. Then Wake Forest on Big Monday, and then they go to Carolina in the regular season finale. So fun stretch run for Duke. Gillis is fouled, which is exactly what Miami wants to see with 12.7 to go. And free throws coming, the foul against Paul Jobay. How about this for Duke?
Go ahead.
This is the 6th time in the last 8 games where Duke has not trailed. And in one of the 2 games where they did trail, they trailed Virginia for 1:54. The only other game in that stretch is the loss at Clemson. But 6 of the last 8, John, they haven't trailed for even a second.
I think it's hard. Look, it's impossible to be perfect, right? We understand it's not possible to be perfect. I think it's hard to keep getting better without having some struggles. So it's not a bad thing that they lose that game. They kind of regroup and figure out how to get a little bit better. It's hard to keep finding ways to improve when you win by 40.
38 in the margin right now. Duke forces a season high 20 turnovers. There's a rim rocker by Jobay. Pardon his French. 97-60. Your final score. Duke averaging 99 a game in the last 3. They get to 97 tonight, and they keep on rolling. 60% from 3, 56 from the field, 90% from the free throw line. Evans, Knipple, and Flagg with big scoring games, and Duke with its 7th 30-plus point win of the year.
I think you can simplify it like this. Duke gets high percentage shots, and the shots they allow you to take are really difficult ones. That's winning basketball right there.
That's a team that has as good a shot as anybody to cut down the nets in over a month. 97-60, Duke is 25-3. Before we get you to some more great basketball, let's get you to the studio. Kev?
Yeah, Kev, nothing like a 37-point